What's up guys, and welcome back to Overkill Gaming, your number one source for handheld gaming. So we're coming up on just about a month since we got our hands on the ROG Ally, and I thought that this would be a perfect time to do a review on this unit and also share why the ROG Ally has become my go-to handheld gaming device. Now, for those who are unaware, I actually own 3 PC gaming handhelds: the Steam Deck, the ROG Ally, and the Ayaneo Geek, and I love them all for different reasons. Let's go over what I like about the ROG Ally. Now, before I got the Ally, I had no experience using Armory Crate, and most of what I heard was not positive. But I have to be honest, I have been enjoying using Armory Crate on this device. It's very easy to use. It's written in good English and provides a lot of flexibility in terms of what you can do with the device. I love that I have my entire game library all in one place. I don't have to go from one launcher to another when I want to switch the game. It's just all right there. I can set up custom controller configurations and profiles for every game. I can even set up custom TDP profiles for every game. One TDP profile for playing while plugged into power and another while playing unplugged. I can also set up the visual profiles per game. Armory Crate is also where I can go to see all of my gameplay recordings as well, which I think is a very cool feature. I can also set up the RGB lighting for the joysticks here as well. And you can also configure your command center, which is basically a quick access menu that allows you to change settings very quickly and easily. My only complaint about the command center is that it can be a bit sluggish at times, but most of the time it works pretty well. I can press this button to bring up the menu and quickly change my TDP, my resolution, switch between gamepad and desktop mode, or have it set to auto and allow Armory Crate to detect whether or not I am in a game or on the desktop and need a mouse. If I am in a game and I want to see the desktop, I can just press show desktop and I'm on the desktop. Or if I need to bring up the on-screen keyboard, I can press keyboard and I have the keyboard. It just makes using Windows on a handheld super easy. The AMD Z1 Extreme is an absolute beast. I have yet to find a game that is too demanding or unplayable on this device, unless it's just a very poorly optimized game, but for the most part, it has handled everything like a champ. And a lot of people were saying that 120 Hz wouldn't be useful on the Ally, but I have been playing most of my games using 120 Hz, and in some games have actually been able to reach 120 FPS, and it looks absolutely amazing on this screen. I actually prefer this 1080p 120 Hz screen on the Ally over the 1200p 60 Hz screen on my Ayaneo because games just look so smooth. And I rarely ever played games in 1200p on the Ayaneo because it would mean having to play at a lower frame rate. So, in my opinion, having a 1080p screen with a higher refresh rate has proven more practical than the 1200p 60Hz screen on the Ayaneo. And because it uses a 16:9 aspect ratio, no more bars on the top and bottom of the screen. Remember when I said that I love the Steam Deck because upgrading the SSD was very easy? Well, it's even easier on the Ally. I was able to swap out the 512GB SSD with a blazing fast 2TB Sabrent Rocket Q4 SSD and have Windows fully installed with all of the drivers and software in a matter of an hour using the cloud restore option in the BIOS. All I needed was an internet connection. That was a huge game changer. And speaking of internet connection, Wi-Fi 6 on the Ally is blazing fast. Downloading games doesn't take nearly as long as it does on the Steam Deck, and PS Remote Play is a far better experience when you have Wi-Fi 6. I recently posted a video of me sitting in my car far from home playing Final Fantasy 16 using Chiaki remotely connected to my PS5 using a 10-watt silent mode, and it was awesome. The speakers on the ROG Ally are the best speakers I have ever experienced on a handheld device. At full volume, they can get very loud and still sound very crisp and clear. I absolutely love the speakers on this device. I also have to mention that I love how this device feels in the hands. It's very comfortable to hold, even for long periods of time. Not as ergonomic as the Steam Deck or Ayaneo. I would still say that the Steam Deck has slightly better ergonomics and feels easier to grip, but the Ally almost feels weightless when compared to both the Steam Deck and the Ayaneo, which makes it easier to hold for longer periods of time. And we got to talk about the XG Mobile eGPU, because that was another reason I really wanted the ROG Ally. Now, you don't need the XG Mobile eGPU to dock the ROG Ally to a gaming monitor and enjoy gaming at 1080p on medium or high settings depending on the game, because the ROG Ally is definitely capable of doing that. But let's say you want to play at even higher resolutions such as 1440p or 4K on high or ultra settings. That's where the XG Mobile eGPU comes in. The XG Mobile eGPU can literally turn the Ally into a full-blown desktop gaming PC, and unlike the other eGPU options that you would have for the Ayaneo or other Windows-based handhelds, the XG Mobile is actually very portable. So you can easily take it with you and have a desktop gaming PC-like experience wherever you go. I opted for the 12GB Radeon RX 6850M XT, and I have been able to play AAA games in 1440p and 4K on high and ultra settings, no problem, with pretty high FPS. Just not that long ago, I posted a video playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, getting anywhere from 130 to 160 FPS. It was amazing, and this is where I see the huge difference between the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally. The Steam Deck works really well as a companion if you already have a gaming PC at home and gives you the ability to play most of your games away from home. The Ally, on the other hand, can serve as your only gaming device, especially when combined with the XG Mobile eGPU. And as an added bonus, you get Xbox Game Pass for free for 3 months, which is amazing. I was actually already subscribed to Game Pass, and when I logged in, it prompted me to claim my free 3-month subscription. So now I'm actually saving money on games, at least until that runs out. And then there's the support. I would rank support somewhere in between Ayaneo and the Steam Deck. Not as good as Valve support when it comes to updates, but far superior to what you would get from Ayaneo. I opted for the Best Buy accidental coverage also, so if this thing breaks, I can go straight to Best Buy a few exits down and get it fixed or replaced. So these are just a few things I really like about the ROG Ally. I'm sure after this video is posted, I will think of other things that I forgot to mention, like why didn't I mention this or why didn't I mention that? But the bottom line is that there is a lot to like about this device. And there are a few things not to like about this device as well. First up is the D-pad. The D-pad on this device is terrible for fighting games. One of my favorite games to play at the moment is Street Fighter 6, and I have all but given up on playing while using this D-pad. I would much rather connect a Bluetooth controller instead because the small circular D-pad is just not ideal for that type of game. Outside of that, I really don't have much of an issue with the controls on this device. I would definitely say that the controls on the Ayaneo and the Steam Deck do feel a bit better, but other than the D-pad in fighting games, I have not had much of an issue with the controls on the Ally. I know some have complained about dead zones, but I can't say that that has been an issue for me. The SD card slot has some issues. Now, personally, I don't really use the SD card slot because I have a large enough SSD, but I did notice that after a recent update, it wasn't recognizing my SD cards. When I inserted the SD card into the slot, I would hear the chime, but nothing would show up, and I ended up having to install an Intel driver for the SD card reader, and that seems to have fixed the issue. That is something that I hope gets resolved sooner rather than later because I would eventually like to be able to use an SD card with the Ally. Another thing I really don't like about the Ally is the color. It's all white, it gets dirty very easily, and I am always wiping this thing down. I will probably end up getting a skin or a protective case as they become available so that I don't have to worry about it getting dirty so often. Which brings me to my next point. Because the ROG Ally is so new, we don't yet have a lot of options as far as accessories are concerned. And this is where I feel like the Steam Deck definitely has an advantage over the Ally at the moment. The good news is that I have seen skins and cases popping up for the Ally, and many of the Steam Deck accessories such as docks can also be used with the Ally as well. However, what I would love to see is a nice protective case with a kickstand and a cover similar to what I have on my Steam Deck. And finally, I want to give my thoughts on battery life. Now, because of how I use my device, I don't have a problem with the battery life. I can play on turbo mode most of the time and be just fine because when I play unplugged, I'm mostly at work. I pull it out on my lunch break, get a quick gaming session in, and I come home and play in my game room docked to a monitor. Then I'll head to the bedroom and I'll play till I get sleepy. Or I may go downstairs and play next to my wife who's watching TV. That's mostly how I use this device. Occasionally, I will be on a long road trip and my wife will be driving and I will play for a little longer. In those situations, I may bump it down to 15 watts just to squeeze out a little more battery life. And when the battery gets low, I can plug in the charger and play for even longer. But that's really the exception to the rule. So for me and how I use the Ally, battery life is really a non-factor. All right, so in conclusion, for someone new to PC and looking for the best entry-level device that is easiest to use and set up right out of the box and provides a more console-like experience at the expense of not being able to play every game, or perhaps you just need a companion device to go along with your gaming PC so that you can play your games on the go, then of course I would still recommend the Steam Deck. However, if you're like me and you're not intimidated by Windows or even prefer Windows, or someone who has a Steam Deck and chose to put Windows on it or dual boot it, then the Ally is the device you want. So there it is, guys. In a nutshell, why the ROG Ally has become my go-to gaming handheld. I still love my other handhelds, but this is the one that I use the most. And if I were to rank them, I would put the Ally at the top because it can do everything I need it to do. I can play every game on it, whether in handheld mode or docked to a monitor or TV, and play at higher resolutions and even high or ultra settings with the eGPU. It's basically a miniature version of my gaming PC, so I can even do regular PC stuff on it. It doesn't require a dual boot. It's super easy to upgrade. It's super lightweight and portable. Armory Crate has greatly improved the Windows experience on a handheld. And in fact, I would even go as far as to say that it is the best Windows handheld experience you will find. And I would definitely recommend this to anyone looking for a PC experience on a handheld device. But let us know what you guys think down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, don't forget to leave a like and also consider subscribing so that you don't miss out on future videos like this. We cover tips, tricks, and gameplay performance for the Steam Deck, the ROG Ally, and the Ayaneo. You definitely don't want to miss out on any of it. And we just passed 4,000 subs. We greatly appreciate the support and look forward to making a lot more content for you guys. Well, that's it for us, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.